Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2008 School of Policy, Planning, and Development Commencement. I am Carol Rush, Associate Dean for Student Affairs. Please rise and welcome the class of 2008. The procession is now entering our venue. The procession is led by flag bearers Ajay Argawal, our doctoral student commencement speaker, and Alamira Reem Bani Hashim, our master's student commencement speaker. Following the flag bearers are the faculty, led by Dean Jack Knott. The graduates will follow, each degree program led by our student leaders. On the right-hand side of the center aisle are the Master of Real Estate Development candidates, led by Sudhakar Reddy, President of the Graduate Real Estate Association, followed by the Master of Planning candidates, led by Courtney Schoenwald, President of the Associated Students of Planning and Development, followed by the Master of Public Administration candidates, led by Lauren Carter, President of the Graduate Policy and Administration Community. On the left-hand side of the center aisle are the doctoral graduates, the Doctor of Philosophy candidates led by Jiaoming Mao, the Master of International Public Policy and Management candidates led by Andy Kongyavarkorkan, President of the IPAM Student Senate. Following are the Master of Health Administration candidates led by Student Health Council co-presidents Aimee Margay and Penny Safin, followed by the Executive Master of Health Administration candidates led by Scott Zeman, followed by the Master of Public Policy candidates led by Jennifer Breckheimer, the MPP representative on the Policy and Administration Community Board, followed by our new Executive Master of Leadership program led by Elizabeth Smith.
Well, welcome everyone. On behalf of the USC School of Policy, Planning, and Development, I welcome each and every one of you to our graduation ceremony for the class of 2008. My name is Jack Knott. I am the Irwin and Ione Piper Dean and Professor at the school. So I want to begin by offering my hearty congratulations to the graduating class of 2008. It is my great pleasure to be here with you on this momentum occasion to celebrate this important milestone. I would like to thank all of you, parents, friends, relatives, and students, for joining us here today, especially those who have traveled a long way to be here. I especially want to thank the families who have provided financial and other support for our students. Your support is deeply appreciated. Could the parents please rise, and could we recognize the parents? Please stand. I also want to thank the faculty and staff who have worked hard and dedicated themselves to providing you with the very best education. So please, would the faculty and staff stand, and let's thank them for their contribution. Also, a number of students at SPPD, including several graduates, come from China. In the wake of the devastating earthquake there, we would like to show our support for all of those affected. We also think of the devastation and tragedy of the cyclone in Myanmar. Please join us in taking a moment of silence for the victims and for everyone who has endured trauma and loss at the hands of these tragic disasters. Thank you. So let's start with an important context. Los Angeles is the capital of the Pacific Rim, a city with a diverse culture, a worldwide immigration, a center for real estate and healthcare, and a city confronting many of the issues megacities confront around the world. In short, it is the perfect context for studying policy, planning, and development. Second, USC as a university is an amazing place with great music, wonderful theater, and a quality of students found only at the best institutions around the world. The opportunity to share and learn from each other is an education in itself. But I would like to take just a few moments to focus on 4 features of the education that you received at SPPD that make it special. First, I have always felt that the strength of our school lies in its ability to make a difference in the world. Our school is dedicated to being relevant, to having a positive impact on the communities and groups that need it most. And our students know, as evidenced through their work, that change cannot be enacted from afar. Instead, it must be galvanized on the ground. Our students interact and engage policymakers, nonprofit managers, real estate developers, urban planners, healthcare leaders, and members of the community. Indeed, many of you have already begun to analyze significant topics. Some of our students this year have won awards for their research projects, focusing on natural disaster response, human trafficking, balancing the needs of diverse communities, urban heat effects in Los Angeles, appropriate topic for today, and affordable housing. In addition, some of our students have advised city councils in across Southern California on issues ranging from urban watershed to rapid transit. Thus, students have actively engaged with the community, not just remained in the classroom. Many of you have participated in internships, teaching labs, community projects, externships, and networking events. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, one group of students traveled to New Orleans and produced a project that won the California American Planning Association Award for Best Project, which was also presented at the prestigious Architecture and Planning Biennale in Venice, Italy. Your work also truly exemplifies one of the most distinct characteristics of our school, our commitment to excellence. Our school is committed to being the very best. Our school has established an esteemed reputation for being a leader in scholarship and research. We consistently rank among the nation's best graduate schools, being ranked again this year by U.S. News & World Report as 7th in the nation. We have a long and distinguished history in public administration, which next year will be celebrating its 80th anniversary, the second oldest public administration degree program in the country. Graduates, I urge you to use your talents and apply your knowledge towards exploring innovative methods of problem solving that will benefit society. And this is the third characteristic of our school, innovation for the future. Our school's mission and multidisciplinary curriculum is innovative. It emphasizes strength of character, entrepreneurship, and engagement in the community. Our school has truly emerged as a school for the 21st century, where students are afforded a chance to learn about and study new forms of public management, public-private partnerships and contracts, financial innovations, and collaborative governance across the public, nonprofit, and business sectors. Students learn how to plan for and analyze the long-term future issues facing society and our urban communities, such as healthcare, urban and real estate development, transportation, infrastructure and sustainability, and more effective governance that allows our society to better address these kinds of long-term issues. They learn to become innovators, the leaders of tomorrow. Finally, our school is global. We live in an interconnected global world where the professions are becoming global, whether it is real estate, urban planning, or public management. Our school has a large worldwide alumni network. This past fall, we honored one of our alumni, Mayor Boom Il Kim, mayor of Daegu, the third largest city of Korea, and there are many more like him in senior leadership positions in numerous countries around the world. Our students understand the impact of the world on local communities, and they learn comparative approaches to problem solving and how to apply practices abroad to improve communities at home. Many of you have participated in our international teaching labs, have known our international students, guest speakers, visiting scholars, and practitioners from abroad, and have participated in the International Public Policy and Management degree program. Now your moment has arrived. It is your turn to make an impact on the world, to share your vision of a better future. So I urge you to focus on making a difference for the common good. Address society's most critical problems by developing partnerships within and across the sectors of society. Create new healthcare programs to benefit the less fortunate and chronically ill. Create new energy and economic development policies that protect the environment, both locally and globally. Build organizations that value employees and stakeholders alike. Develop residential and commercial real estate that promotes community, a sense of place, and infrastructure for a sustainable future. Work towards more inclusive definitions of community. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." I know that the future belongs to you because you believe in the beauty of your dreams. Graduates through USC and SPPD, you have an extraordinary opportunity for learning and advancement. You have benefited in myriad ways from the wisdom and generosity of the faculty who teach in our programs. These individuals, along with SPPD's worldwide network of loyal supporters, including the alumni, recognize the value of our school's interdisciplinary curriculum and its emphasis on public and private problem solving and the importance of practical application and its ethical and character standards. Our alumni have gone on to be mayors and city council members, city managers and planners, leaders in nonprofit organizations, industrial and commercial real estate developers and home builders, policy analysts at the state and local level, and healthcare managers who run some of the most important complex healthcare organizations in the country. These individuals, along with our worldwide alumni network, value our school's curriculum and its practical application and its mission. Those of us who are here today to commend your accomplishments as students hope that you will maintain a strong tie to our school and to USC as you move forward in life as alumni. and members of the Trojan family. There will be many opportunities to give back to the school and the university. Time spent as volunteers or career mentors or employers, perhaps, of our future students. And Rick Caruso was mentioning competitors to some of the current businesses. Through joining the new SPPD Athenian Society, which financially supports the school's annual fund, through attending the annual Alumni Guardian Awards dinner. We look forward to continuing this relationship with you. As new students join our program in the future, they will look to you, our recent graduates, for inspiration and support. The Trojan family is formed through a common background. It grows through the commitment of its members one to another. This evening, you achieve special status with the Trojan family. You become USC alumni. Congratulations once again. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors and look forward to learning about all your future accomplishments. At this time, I'd like to introduce today's keynote speaker, Rick Caruso. Throughout his career, Mr. Caruso has demonstrated the kind of forward-thinking leadership and commitment to civic contribution that lie at the heart of our school's mission. Mr. Caruso is the Chief Executive Officer of Caruso Affiliated, a Los Angeles-based real estate development company he founded in 1992. Caruso Affiliated owns and manages a portfolio of upscale retail and entertainment properties. The company leads the industry in innovation with its award-winning retail developments, including the Grove, the Commons at Calabasas, the Promenade at Westlake, and now the new Americana at Brand in Glendale. That's a good sign, yeah, just keep shopping. Mr. Caruso told me that there's already been over 1 million visitors to this. It started about 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. Yeah. In addition, Mr. Caruso has a strong record of public service and civic responsibility. He is the former president of the Los Angeles Police Commission and former commissioner of the LA Department of Water and Power. His philanthropic commitments include serving on the boards of Para Los Niños, St. John's Healthcare Foundation, and the California Hospital Medical Center. The Los Angeles Times recently named Mr. Caruso as one of LA's most influential leaders, and he received the prestigious 2006 Visionary Award from KCET, Southern California's leading public television station. Mr. Caruso is a long-standing member of the USC community and a dedicated supporter of our school. Not only is he a distinguished USC alumni, but he also serves on our school's Board of Counselors. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rick Caruso.
Thank you. That's a great reception. I should stop while I'm ahead. Thank you very much. You know what? I was sitting here, and I've got a speech, and I'm going to dispose of the speech because what I like about this setting, it's much more intimate, so I'd rather have a conversation for a couple of minutes and just give you some thoughts that I have if I were sitting in your shoes today, or maybe a reflection. I wasn't sitting in your shoes because I never got a master's degree. I wish I had. But I was thinking about it. I went on to law school. After I graduated from the business school, I wish I'd have graduated from the School of Policy Planning and Development. And it was a great learning experience. I loved going through law school. I loved doing everything I did. I went out and I practiced law, but it wasn't what I was passionate about. And so I was probably an okay lawyer. I don't think I would have ever been a great lawyer. The best thing that happened to me is the law firm went out of business. Wasn't a very good lawyer. There was 800 lawyers. It was the largest firm in the United States, and it imploded on its own weight. And that was really a gift when I look back. You know, you sort of look back in life. I'm not that old, but you look back and you connect the dots of what you did in life that sort of helped you along the way, and there's a billion things that you do that help you along the way. But what I really learned is, if you do something you're really passionate about, you do really well. There's not a lot of secrets in terms of success, and success shouldn't only get measured by monetary success. So those of you who are in real estate, I think this is the real estate side, right? Since I don't want any competitors, I think you should get out of real estate right now. It's a terrible field. You're not going to enjoy it at all. It's miserable. Those of you on the public policy side and the health side, all of you are to be congratulated. You've chosen a much better field than the real estate side. No, I'm kidding. The point I want to make is, whatever you've chosen to do, be passionate about it. Enjoy it. Love it every day. When you think about it, if you can have a career that you wake up every morning and you love, you're going to be competing with 99% of the world that wake up every morning and don't love what they do. So by definition, you're ahead of the game. You'll be smarter, you'll be brighter, you'll work harder, you'll have a better attitude, you'll be more creative. And I think there's three things that really help me in life. One is, I think you have to be a good technician. You guys have learned those skills. You've learned in class, you've gone to one of the greatest universities in the world, one of the greatest schools in the world. So you learn the technical skills. Then you have to be a great manager. You have to manage people. You have to lead. You have to inspire. You have to get out there with them and do the same work and work side by side. When we were under construction at the Americana, I have a rule. You work late, we serve you dinner. And who serves dinner? I stand in the food line. It's my way of telling the workers, I appreciate what you do. I think that's part of leadership, is being down with everybody you're asking to work hard. But the last thing that differentiates people is vision. And how do you get vision? How do you become a visionary? Now, the best example that I've had over the years, and I'm a fan of Disney, it gets written about, and Bob Iger, you probably heard this morning, that now heads up the Walt Disney Company. If you take those three characteristics and you apply it to Walt Disney, great technician. He was a cartoonist. That was his trade. That was his skill. If he would have just stayed a great technician, he would have done great cartoons. Probably would have never known the name. Manager. Started the Walt Disney Company. Great manager. Did great things with the Walt Disney Company. Walt Disney Company, in the beginning, didn't do a lot in terms of growth. Sort of struggled from time to time. What made Walt Disney different? He was a visionary. He had big ideas, and he believed in himself. And I also think that believing in yourself is the most important thing you guys can take away with you. Look at what you've accomplished. You are graduating from the greatest school in the United States. USC is the best. This school is the best. You've already done the hard work. You've got the discipline. You've got the training. Now you just need to get pumped up, and you go out there, believe in yourself, and do it. And don't listen to the noise of people that will tell you what you can't do. If anything, that should empower you more, should motivate you more, move you forward. When I built our first outdoor shopping center, people said, "You're nuts. What are you doing? People don't shop outdoors, they shop in malls." I said, "Really? Why? Why don't they want to be outside?" When we built the Grove, why are you building at the Grove? It's an old area. It's forgotten about. Don't listen to the noise. Perception can become reality. Let me give you an example. People will tell you to always distinguish perception from reality. I would tell you the opposite. When my first son was born, a young man named Alex, he's now 18. My wife and I, obviously so excited, our first child. And I go down like the typical dad, you know, I leave my wife and I'm going to go down and I'm going to look through the window and I'm going to see my son in the nursery. Swear to God this is true. And there's a board in the back of the nursery and it lists all the kids' names. And there it was, Alex Caruso. And I am the proudest dad in the world. And at the end, there is an A. And I'm thinking to myself, that son of a gun, he's already got an A. That's my kid. Look at the kid next to him. He's a B+. My kid's an A. I walked back in the room. I swear to God, I told the doctor. I said, this kid passed every test. He's 2 hours old. He's an A. I said, Caruso, calm down. That's his blood type. Swear to God. But that was my reality. My reality is I just had the best son in the world, and I still believe that today. That's my reality. My reality is that I could get out of law, I could start a real estate company, not knowing a darn thing about it, and I could make it work. I could listen to a customer. I could follow the consumer's lead. I could learn the technical skills that I didn't have, and I could believe in myself and stay grounded. What you've learned in this school is the best of all worlds. That's why I'm so excited about this school and so excited to be here. You take practical applications of business and you take public policy together. That has been my life. I've been involved in city government. I've been a commissioner. I understand how government works, but I'm also in business. You need to have that. You need to have breadth in your life in terms of your business experience. Get involved with the community. Be active. Give back. On closing, I want to just say one last thing to you. You all know how to work hard. You are all going to work hard. It is a global economy. It is competitive. It is tough out there. You will survive. You will succeed. What I will tell you is never lose the priority of family. Never lose the priority of what got you here. Never lose the priority of today, what's sitting behind you, and for many, many years has been behind you, supporting you. Your ups and downs in businesses are going to come and go, and you will accomplish anything you want. The true great joy of life is sharing time with your family and sharing your success. God bless you, good luck, and don't compete with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. We appreciate it. I am now pleased to present our two student speakers. Our first speaker, Dr. A.J. Agarwal, is receiving the Doctor of Philosophy in Planning today. A.J.'s research interests are in the evolution of metropolitan spatial structure and the relationship between the built environment, transportation, and physical activity. His teaching interests are in theory and methods courses in urban planning, transportation policy, and studio laboratory courses that apply both urban design skills and planning concepts. His dissertation, titled Testing the Entrepreneurial City Hypothesis, a study of the Los Angeles region, chaired by Professor Genevieve Giuliano, examines the role of local governments in shaping intrametropolitan employment trends. He has co-authored several papers and research reports with Professor Giuliano and Professor Chris Redfern. During his time at USC, he has conducted research on the evolution of Los Angeles metropolitan spatial structure, issues related to goods movement in Southern California, and local economic development strategies. He holds a bachelor's degree in architecture from Lucknow University in India, a diploma in environmental planning from the Center for Environmental Planning and Technology in India, and a Master of Planning from USC. After he receives his degree, he plans to pursue an academic career at a major research university. So please welcome A.J. Agarwal.
Thank you, Dean Don. Dear professors, family members, friends, and fellow graduates, I'm honored to address you today. On behalf of the graduating doctoral students of USC School of Policy Planning and Development, I would like to thank all the parents, spouses, family members, and friends who encouraged and supported us as we work towards our degrees. I would especially like to thank my own family. My parents who've traveled more than 10,000 miles to celebrate this occasion. my wife Sukriti for her love and support, and my dear son Arnav, who celebrates his second birthday tomorrow. I would also like to thank all the wonderful staff members of SPPD who've always been there for us. Most importantly, I would like to thank all the SPPD faculty members who served as our instructors, our mentors, and our friends. On behalf of all the graduating doctoral students, I would like to thank our respective faculty advisors for their insightful guidance, unrelenting support, and their patience over the past few years. Finally, I would personally like to thank my own advisor, Professor Genevieve Giuliano, who continued to believe in my capabilities when mine own faltered. And that has been more than one occasion like that. Without you, I couldn't have done this, Professor Giuliano. Thank you. The last few years that I've spent as a graduate student have been most fulfilling and also most challenging. And that's not just because I was learning to change diapers, but also intellectually. One of the most enriching aspects of being a graduate student at SPPD was the tremendous breadth and incredible depth of knowledge offered by the SPPD faculty. I had the honor and the pleasure of being in company of some of the most brilliant minds, deep thinkers, and demanding scholars who kept raising the bar. As doctoral students, we've all made huge investments of time in pursuing our degrees. Let's say 4, 5, 6, and even more number of years. So what have we learned? What makes all this important? Well, we now use phrases like pathology of space, game theoretics, and you love this, Professor Krieger, post-industrial metropolis in our daily lingo. On a more serious note, the program has helped us, each one of us, grow intellectually and taught us not only the art of learning, but also creating knowledge. Our dissertations, written painstakingly and rather painfully, help advance the state of knowledge. The body of knowledge that we've collectively created with our dissertations will eventually have far-reaching societal impacts, as it is used in future research and taught in classrooms all over the world. The topics studied by my fellow doctoral students are some of the most challenging and cover a variety of urban issues. To mention just a few examples, my friend Dr. Ferdinand Luis's dissertation proposes a way for researchers and practitioners to evaluate how urban neighborhoods support active living, which is crucial in the context of childhood obesity epidemic. Dr. Kathy Liu examines the residential location choices of immigrants and explores the way in which those choices influence their incomes. My good friend Abhishek Mamgain is evaluating the impact of subprime lending on home ownership rates among the minority and low-income households. As we graduate today, I feel a range of emotions. I feel proud that I'm joining the elite group of doctors of philosophy, but I also feel humbled being in the company of great scholars such as those in our faculty. I'm also a bit nervous about what lays ahead, for earning a PhD is not an end. It's merely the beginning of a long academic journey. As urban scholars, we all share the desire to make society a better place to live. Our knowledge, our research and teaching capabilities are our power. And to quote Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Let us all graduate today with a pledge to make the world a better place to live. Thank you, and fight on.
Representing the master's students, Alamira Reem Bani Hasim will receive the Master of Planning degree today with a concentration in preservation and design of the built environment. Since coming to SPPD in fall 2006, Reem has immersed herself and proven herself a leader in the field of planning. She was a competitor in the 2007 Urban Land Institute Gerald D. Hines Student Urban Design Competition. She also teamed up with 5 other planning students at USC to design the USC Park Campus Bike Path proposal and shape the pedestrian experience as part of USC's new master plan. Along with Professor Clara Irascible, she will present their paper, The Scheherazade Syndrome, Dubai's Quest to Become a Global City, at the International Association for the Study of Traditional Environments Conference in Oxford this summer. She also founded the Journal of the UAE Studies, and her article, Dubai, Identity and the Built Environment, will be featured in the first issue this fall. During summer 2007, Reem worked in the Executive Affairs Authority of the Urban Planning Unit in Abu Dhabi and participated in the SPPD labs where she worked on the development of the harbor waterfront industrial sites and advised the city planning office in Ravenna, as well as the Water Resources Agency in Rio on tourism planning. Reem holds a bachelor's degree in architecture from the University of California at Berkeley and will return to Berkeley in the fall to begin her PhD in city and regional planning. Reem.
Wow, I am so nervous. All right, members of the faculty, parents, guests, and graduates, being up here today representing the master's program and student body humbles me immensely. It is an honor that I was selected and asked to do this, and it's such a rush that I get to ramble on about myself in front of a crowd of 10,000 people, maybe? So I hope that I can leave not only a part of myself with you today, but also a sense of what this program, institution, and department has meant to all of us here today. So I understand that you guys are dying for us speakers to get on with it already, so you can watch your loved ones get on stage and get their diploma. So I'm gonna keep this as short and sweet as I can. The theme, thank you. The theme of my speech is privileges, ladies and gentlemen. So whoever can count the number of times I've used the word privilege in this speech, I'll let you keep my tassel. So for those of you who don't know me, I joined USC as an international student from the United Arab Emirates. And let me tell you, when I first got here, almost 90% of my friends here did not have a clue what the UAE was, and they went home and Googled it just after they met me. I don't blame them, however, because my country was a desert backwater until recently, when the leaders decided to join the global competition for urban dominance and to cultivate the country's place in the global cities network. If that's too much jargon for you, it's only because I picked it up here at USC, so I'm about to put it simply. The UAE was a little desert country until the 80s, and about in the 90s, it experienced a great building boom and started to attract tourists and investors, among others. It has been a privilege to sort of be kind of its ambassador while here at USC. It has also been a privilege to be included as part of SPPD's incredibly diverse community. The MPL program has given me the opportunity to nurture my skills as an academic and a practitioner so that I may go home and apply everything that I have learned here over there. Did you know that the UAE did not have any planning departments or general plans or even planners for that matter? Before coming to USC, I was applying for a distinguished student scholarship from a government agency back home. I had to go through a painful interview where I had to answer questions like, Reem, why are you not continuing your master's in architecture, which was my undergraduate major? Why did you choose USC over Columbia? And what the hell is urban planning? The million-dollar question was asked. And I can kind of see that you guys in the MPL program are agreeing with me, because I bet you've had to answer this question 10,000 times. So this is what I told the board of directors back home. In architecture, I was engrossed in worrying about square footage and being inspired by the ant crawling across my stage at 3 a.m. I wanted the walls to be just the perfect size, the thickness, and the structural innovation, just genius. But then I stopped to think, what on earth am I doing? Where is this building going? Who is it affecting? How is it affecting them socially, politically, economically, and more? I wanted to know the answers to these questions and build communities and cities using all the tools that drive them. How can I design just one building at a time and not consider what kind of impact it's making? So by my being up here, you can imagine I swayed them. At USC and SPPD in particular, I have had the privilege of learning the most challenging of concepts, of attending conferences and seminars in Vegas and Italy and Brazil, and some of my colleagues got to go to UK and China. I have had the privilege of being actively involved in one of the many planning organizations on campus. I have also had the privilege of sharing with my classmates numerous sleepless nights on Gmail and GChat, of group project work, of whining and complaining that our classes are killing us, of laughing and partying and happy hours, and believe me, you will not find a more dedicated class of happy hour goers right there in that corner. I've had the privilege of being a part of a family, hold on, I lost my papers, of a family at SPPD, of being accepted for who I am, of where I come from, of being able to share and share and share and to learn even more than that. It's been a privilege to attend one of the greatest urban planning programs in the nation. I went home last summer after the International Design Labs, and guess what? They were doing planning. And I'm thinking, hell yeah! I landed an internship with the newly formed Urban Planning Council in the capital of the UAE, Abu Dhabi. Well, many of you know of Dubai, one of the Emirates that's booming with developments right now and building the world's biggest everything. It's practically on steroids. If you don't know it, you can always Google it. Well, Abu Dhabi decided to go that path and claim its position on the global map too, and decided to do it better than Dubai. They centralized the urban planning development, the urban development process, and established the Urban Planning Council in July of '07. Our boss, an Emirati citizen with a degree in business administration and no knowledge of planning whatsoever, he asks me, "How did you choose urban planning? How did you know to do that when there was no such thing as an urban planning profession in Abu Dhabi?" To which I replied, "I'm a gangster, baby." It was a privilege to be the only Emirati urban planner, apart from my sister, on the team. It was a privilege because I got to share with the team not only my experiences with the UAE's history and urban development, but I was also able to share all that I had learned up to that point in the program at USC. The MPL program has given me the strength, the tools, the skills, and the passion to go home and improve UAE quality of life by effectually shaping the built environment. I know the program has done the same for my fellow classmates and graduates, and I know that they will all go out into the real world and make some powerful changes. I am going to read about most of them in the news and look them up for important connections and favors, for they will all be important figures in their professions. I know it. And at that time, I will say to myself, what a privilege it's been knowing these people. They sure know how to pull some strings. Most of all, however, it's been a privilege to grow as an individual, an architect, an urban planner, a friend, a woman, an Emirati, a student, and a daughter, with all of these wonderful people by my side. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything in the world. It has truly humbled me. So thank you, SPPD. Thank you, my teachers. Thank you, fellow graduates and friends. Thank you, Mom, Dad, my sister Noor. And thank you, all of you out there listening to my speech and humoring me. It's been an absolute privilege. In Arabic, we say Alf Mabruk, which means 1,000 congratulations. So Alf Mabruk, everyone. We did it.
Thank you, Reem. That was wonderful. Now I'd like to recognize an individual who has been very instrumental in the Lusk Center for Real Estate and the Masters of Real Estate Development program. Stan Ross, would you please come forward? I am pleased to announce that USC has recently bestowed the title of Distinguished Fellow on Stan Ross in recognition of his many contributions to the school and real estate development. For many years, Stan has served as the chairman of the board for the Luss Center for Real Estate and has overseen its rise to be the preeminent real estate research center in the country. Over the past 2 years, he served as the interim director of the Luss Center. He was formerly vice chairman real estate industry services for Ernst & Young LLP, as well as managing partner of Ernst & Young Kenneth Leventhal Real Estate Group. Mr. Ross is widely recognized for his experience in strategic planning for real estate companies with expertise in mergers, acquisitions, and reorganizations, and the development of creative financial structures. He was involved in the initial organization of the Resolution Trust Corporation and was a member of the Auditing Standards Board of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, which sets the auditing rules for the accounting profession. In 2006, the Urban Land Institute published an inside track to careers in real estate, authored by Mr. Ross and researched by students from the MRED program. This book is the #1 selling book for the Urban Land Institute. He has served as a mentor to hundreds of our USC students and graduates and has served as an educational leader for the broader reach real estate industry through his writings, speeches, and conferences. Through these efforts, he has helped position our school as the leader, the absolute leader in the field of real estate development. And so it's my great privilege to give Stan this certificate and confer on him the title of Distinguished Fellow at SPPD. Stan?
Thank you. No speech, just good luck to all the graduates of the 2008 class.
Yesterday, we had an awards ceremony in which we honored those students who had achieved academic excellence. This was a really remarkable event. I was so impressed by the kinds of projects, the skill and knowledge and presentations of these projects, and the great quality of the students involved. These students were recognized yesterday for this achievement, and at this time I'd like to ask the award recipients to stand so that we can also recognize them today. Would you please stand? So now is the time to recognize the hard work in each and every one of the graduates. We will now call up each student individually and hand out the diploma covers, Truth in Advertising. Diplomas will be mailed in 4 to 6 weeks. We will begin with the Doctor of Philosophy candidates who will be hooded by their dissertation chairs, then follow with the handing diploma covers to the master's candidates, and Senior Associate Dean Elizabeth Grady and Professor Yang Heng Deng, will you please come to the podium at this time?
Thank you, Jed. Dean Knott, I now present to you the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy. Candidates, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin with a hooding ceremony. During the ceremony, the student's dissertation committee chair will present a hood, a symbol of the PhD degree. As the students and advisors' names are called, please come forward.
Ajay Agrawal, Chair, Dr. Genevieve Giuliano, dissertation title, Testing the Entrepreneurial City Hypothesis, a Study of the Los Angeles Region. Ilana Apostol, Chair, Dr. Tridib Banerjee. Dissertation title, The Production of Public Spaces, Design, Dialectics, and Pedagogy. Murtaza Baksamusa, Chair, Harry Richardson. Dissertation title, Beyond the Limits to Planning for Equity, The Emergence of Community Benefits Agreements as Models and Participatory Processes. Swati Shaduri, Chair, Dr. Niraj Verma. Dissertation title, Institutional Analysis of Stakeholder Collaboration in Freight Movement at the Ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Gary Michael Durbin, Chair, Dr. Robert Myrtle. Dissertation title, Organizational Structuring for Homeland Security, a U.S. state-by-state comparative analysis. Erliana, Chair, Dr. Glenn Melnick. Dissertation title, Expanding Health Insurance in Indonesia to Increase Utilization. Does distance still matter? Chang Mum Ju, Chair, Dr. Yan Tang. Dissertation title, Government Funding of Environmental NGOs in Korea, Institutional Paths, Network Embeddedness, and Organizational Heterogeneity. Xiaoming Miao, Chair, Dr. Gerald Caden. Dissertation title, Administrative Corruption in China, a Historical and Cultural Analysis. Elif Karsi, Chair, Dr. Genevieve Giuliano. Dissertation title, Roles of Household Responsibilities in Women's Commute Lengths, an International Study. Kathy Kalnick, Chair, Dr. Greg Heiss. Dissertation title, Order Before Zoning, Land Use Regulation in Los Angeles, 1880 to 1915. Ferdinand Stephen Lewis, Chair, Dr. Tridib Banerjee. Dissertation title, A Capability-Based Approach to Defining Performance Characteristics of the Built Environment. Junga Chair, Dr. Tridib Banerjee. Dissertation title, Walkability as Freedom, The Ecology of School Journey in Los Angeles Inner City Neighborhoods. Shuyang Zhan, Chair, Dr. Yan Tang, dissertation title, Processes, Effects, and the Implementation of Market-Based Environmental Policy, Southern California's Experiences with Emissions Trading. Let's have a big round of applause for the doctoral students.
Dean Knott, I now present to you the candidates for the International Public Policy and Management degree.
Kongyat Andi Varakornkarn. Linda Kuo. Tae-Yu Chen. Naoki Kato. Chris Yilan Wong. Akio Arimoto. Yu Zhang. Xin Chin Gloria Xie. Hui Chen Sharon Chung. Ray Wu. Adrian Kervin Cheng Tan. Shi Hua Chen. Liu Chia Yen. Kan Chen. Daishi Fujimoto. Taro Araki. Takao Sato. Damian Cheng. Kenny Chang. Yusuke Kitao. Steve Jefferson. Si Huan Wang. Lian. Chao Ting Nikki Xu. Eric Xie. Laura Deely. Benson Xu. Milton Lee. Michelle Lum. Jamie Hausch. Marisa Grace Vergara.
Ladies and gentlemen, our international students come throughout the world. Most of them don't have families with them here today, so please join me with a round of applause and congratulate them.
Dean Knott, I now present to you the candidates for the Master in Health Administration. Woo!
Aimee Marie Maragai. Mui Ha Penny Sefan. Tahira Hashmi. Nari E. Sitachita. Momo Wu. Harini Sarath. Judy Vuong. Po Ya Chuang. Omar Dabuni. Valerie Vanessa Sanchez. Evan Abram Roth. Dante F. Tolbert. Matthew Christopher Simmons. Angela Ama Owusu. Bryant Morado. Stacy Michelle Wilbon. Tameson An Amore Amerua. Jacqueline Yvette Hernandez. Suna Mawish Siddiqui. Mark Andrew Marioni. Lauren Renee Martinez. Jude Wasu. Rudy Samuel Melson. Stephen Norton Badger. Let's give a round of applause to the graduate MHA class.
Dean Knott, I now present to you the candidates for the Executive Masters in Health Administration.
Scott R. Zeman. Linda Gay Womack. Marguerite Field. Adama Iwu. Michael Joseph King. Katrissa Laverne Lightfoot Sorgia. Del N. Aquino. Charles William Taylor. Charles S. Yun. Brandon Justin Klein. Xiaowei Liu. Let's give a round of applause to the EMHA graduates.
Dean Knott, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Public Policy.
Jennifer Lynn Breckheimer. Beena Patel. Lena Prudence Schneeberger. Nora Hillary Stein. Jordana Nicole Camarada. Michael Seth Nalick. Nathaniel Clark Cahoe. Kristen Pace Brower. Diego Cayetano Martin. Jessica Irene Monhe. Betsy Gimbel Hawkins. Delia Pei Ming Z. Jessica Ann Stanfill. Roxanne C. Jones. Tiffany Nicole McClinton. Andrea Monique Cameron. Nazanin Shahra Angoshtari. John Anthony Rios. Todd Yamada. Andrea Maria Chinchilla. Norma Rivera. Shruti Garg. Farhanaz Karmali. Amanda H. Volker. Jennifer Ann Sperling. Pushpinder Punia. Carlo Jose Romero. Jenny Law Tucker. Margaret Lynn. Sasha Nicole Rumberg. David Reed. Nicholas Peter Owen Williams. Eric Kramer. Terry Lynn Galvan. Elena Majoni. Elka Kolodinsky. Kathleen Celeste Baker. David Alexander Greenberg. Heather Laura May. Sean Christopher Mitski. Claire Lee. Jennifer Lee Suda. Xiao Qing Zheng. Maria Elena Tostado. Geraldine I. Alejo. Daniel Brian Rabiner. Nairi Jilisian. Irene Ebronosian. Tamar Kozibukian. Rebecca Rose Grusky. Andrea Beth Ilulian. Let's give a round of applause to the MPP graduates.
Dean Jack Knott. No, you're not coming out. This is the inaugural class of the Executive Master of Leadership, something you wanted us to do, and we did it. So I now present to you the candidates for the Executive Master of Leadership.
Elizabeth Ann Smith. Dorothy Moore LeBeau. Imran Farouk. Let's give a round of applause to the EML graduates.
Dean Knott, I now present to you the candidates for the Master of Public Administration.
Lauren Wiley Carter. Abel Charm Sun. Michael Galvin. John Edward Hargreaves. Tessa Sulu Bowser. Deborah Tarani. Lori Michelle Noto. Mark Nakla. Karen Joanna Reed. Monica Flores. Jesse Joseph Sacido Jr. Alexander Lennon McLean. Nikolai Konovalov. Lisa Ann Herbst. Leah Christina Simbulakis. Sean Giles. Erica Leanne Lozano. Renee Devan Burwell. Shantika Joyner. Veronica Mena. Shauna Holmquist. Andrew Douglas Isles. Carolyn Tudis Cohen. Marina Mary Bridian. Winnie Liu. Hillary Melvin George Strauss. Weiss Hassan. Katie Marie Ertmer. Christine Brandt Escarda. Hector Lara. Aaron Michael Hake. Anna Estrada. Kieran Sakina Rizvi. Andrew James Hoig. Todd Andrew Robertson. Jennifer Marie Trick. Kate Kirkendall. Rebecca Ford Cook. Susan Zarin Dutra. Kirsten Saria Trefuk. Renee Shoiket. Garrett Staley. Sildy Tom. Susan Liu. Shafiq Meyer. Tina Yasayan. Per Utra Piramsu. Andy Mean. David Lee. Jin Zhang. Yvonne Evan Young. Si Chen. John Andre Beasons. Candice Lynn Livingston. Justin DeWitt Lasculi. Duyan Shi. Rebecca Tang. Chang Chi. Bruce Xiaonan Wu. Teresa Mosqueda. Let's have a huge round of applause for the graduating class of the MPAs.
Dean Knott, I'm proud to present to you the candidates for the Masters of Planning degree.
Kristen Rose Miles. Iris Chi. Young Cho. Sagar M. Shah. Paul David Nakashima. Chun Hu. Sungsu Yoon. Thomas Yi. Elaine Cam. Doris Lay. Timothy Ryan Bretz. John Robert Leonard. Yella Ellefson. Derek Wada Braun. Natasha Bebahani. Tamara Marie Gishri. Matthew Justin Hisson. Siri Ann Egebraten. Bowen Lynn Patterson. Arlie Anita Cassidy. Jody Beth Rosen. Peter Chow. Irene Bone. Shauna Lee Delavue. Jorge Rivas Jr. Erica Martin. Almira Reem Beni Hashim. Zarek Scales. Marissa Marie Christensen. Jane Stats Carlson. Larry Mahler. Eric Yasayan. Nicole Farnoosh. Tahira Ferris. Stephanie Strickland Coton. Allison Patricia Gomer. Leslie Provenzano. Patrick James Pontius Jr. Courtney Grant Schoenwald. Scott Brian Hartwell. Jennifer Diane Shee. Rushita Kadakia. Argane Maya. Malian. Got it. Argane Malian. Nicholas Benavides. Trisha Fleming. Lindsay Marin Hagan. Rupa Dandamudi. Lisa Ann Herbst. Leah Christina Simvulakis. Let's have another huge round of applause for the graduating class of the MPLs.
We're in the home stretch. Dean Knott, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the candidates for the Master of Real Estate Development.
Jennifer Moore. Tony Sungmin Park. Scott Clark Zengel. Mark Seigler Roberts. Jason Paul Kilpatrick. Matthew Randall Hershey Hirsch. Chester Adgate Congdon III. Dominic Luis Boitano. Kevin Snoop Galbosini. Tyler Robinson Monroe. Sandy the Great Schmidt. David Michael Hodgkins. Mark Lawrence Amott. Danye Richard Adams. Michael Roland Shinasa. Andre Franz Kraus. Armin Kazarian. Matthew Galanians. John Tianxian Xu. Simon Leong. Martin Robertson. Winston Lee. Ruben Michael Montoya. Amy Lau. Corey Paul Leff. David Manchuri. Michael Preet Singh Nijar. Nicholas Zaharov. Megan Jean Varga. Brett Anthony Mascaro. Patrick Pontius Jr. Danny Kuo. Matthew Alden Dorr. Jason Christopher Gramillion. Lisa Michelle Hoshek. Young Jae Pak. Matt Chiriello. Suzanne Nicole Cope. Joseph Scott O'Toole. Anuj K. Vash. Jared Caruso Parker. Paul Anderson. Aaron Scott Benyon. Bryant William Hull. Ken Lee. Sudha Reddy. Andrew Clark. Mark Castleman. Andrew Neil Richard. Peter Vogel. Roland Chi. Dong Su Lee. T.J. Fexer. Blake Husney. Jonathan Marcellus Snow. Let's give a big round of applause to the MRED graduates. Thank you.
I would now like to welcome Lupe Valdez to the podium. She is the president of the SPPD Alumni Board. As a student, Lupe Valdez was a member of SPPD's Intergovernmental Management Program, which afforded her the opportunity to learn about local, state, and federal levels of government by traveling from Los Angeles to Sacramento to Washington, D.C. Today, she is concerned with the ways in which goods travel across the country. As Director of Public Policy and Community Affairs for Union Pacific Railroad. In this role, Lupe engages government leaders on important transportation issues facing the country. Lupe is tremendously talented and multifaceted, and we are proud that she is leading our Alumni Association as its president. Please welcome Lupe Valdez.
Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Dean Knott. Thank you, Mr. Caruso. Thank you to all the alumni and staff that are here. I think a lot has been said today. So first of all, congratulations, class of 2008. I also want to be the first to welcome you to the Alumni Association. It gives me great pleasure to call you all alumni of SPPD. And finally, most importantly, I think we've talked about this several times. Say thank you to everyone that helped you get here today. Don't forget to give back. And I think most importantly today, celebrate and let's get ready to party, folks.
All right. Thank you, Lupe. Ended on a good note there. So, will everyone please stand? To the faculty and staff, proud parents, relatives, and friends, I proudly present to you the School of Policy, Planning, and Development's class of 2008. Graduates, you may now move your tassels to the right side. Congratulations and good luck.